Viewed from the outside, life in Soviet Latvia may have seemed idyllic. The Soviet Union presented itself as a country which was for world peace, democracy, and equality. However, reality was often different from these grand slogans. Instead of peace, Soviet people suffered repressions and terror, especially during the time Joseph Stalin was in power. During this period, Latvia experienced 2 mass deportations. On June 14, 1941, more than 15,000 people were deported from Latvia. These people were arrested and deported under inhuman conditions, in train wagons for transporting cattle. Amongst those sent were the intelligentsia, members of the political and economic elite, representatives of Latvian, Russian, Jewish, and other nationalities. People were arrested in the middle of the night and were given an hour or even less to pack their belongings before leaving for an unknown destination. The route for the exiles lead away from Latvia, generally to sparsely populated regions of the Soviet Union, where the climate and living conditions were extremely harsh. The largest mass deportation took place on March 25, 1949, when more than 42,000 people were deported from Latvia. They were mainly land-owning farmers, as, after the Second World War, country folks supported partisans who were fighting against the Soviet regime. Also, farmers were against the efforts to introduce the collective farming model in the Latvian countryside. They were used to working on their own private farms, rather than in collective farms, also known as kolkhozes. Deportations would have long-term consequences. They destroyed the traditional rural community structure and changed the mentality of the people and their way of life. One of the pillars of the Soviet repression structure was called the Cheka, the predecessor to the KGB. The building on the corner of Brīvības Street and Stabu Street in Riga, also known as the Corner House, is associated with the Cheka's inhumanity. People who the Soviet regime deemed hostile would be imprisoned and interrogated there. Although with time, physical repressions by the KGB decreased, it still controlled the population, and people were afraid that their views or actions could lead to punishment. People could be publicly shamed and excluded from society. They could lose their jobs or opportunities for higher education. Anyone could be arrested and brought to trial for having an opinion which was different in one way or another. People would be repressed for their faith or religious beliefs, or for hoping that Latvia will once be free again. Gunārs Astra, one of the most outspoken members of the resistance movement, said when describing the Soviet period at a judicial hearing, "I believe that this time will vanish like a bad dream. It gives me the strength to stand here and breathe."